Face there, everybody. This is about the Titanic is being recreated and is scheduled to set sail in 2022. And as you can see here is the screenshot of the Titanic herself, as she is a replica of the real Titanic. And of course, this is a computerized image of the planned Titanic too. Cue the Celine Dion sing-alongs, because dreams really do come true. A replica of the original Titanic with some beneficial structural and technological improvements is currently being built to take passengers, on a cruise across the Atlantic Ocean. So there are some technological improvements that is being built onto the replica of the Titanic. Titanic 2, as it will be known, is scheduled to welcome passengers aboard sometime in 2022 and will sail to ports around the world. This includes a commemorative voyage from England to New York in honor of the original ship's legacy. To recreate the splendor of the Titanic, this new Titanic 2 will also feature the same interiors and cabin layouts as the original ship, serving early 1900s natural glamour of realness. So the new Titanic is going to have a lot of new things, but it'll still have the replica of everything that it has. She is also scheduled to set sail in 2022. It will sail to ports around the world. This includes a commemorative voyage from England to New York. So the original Titanic was going from England to New York, but unfortunately she hit an iceberg and the Titanic has sank in 1912. The splendor of the Titanic, this new Titanic 2 will also feature the same interiors and cabin layouts. So it's going to have everything the same as the original Titanic has. And of course, serving early 1900s natural glamour realness. According to a statement from Blue Star Line, the Australian shipping company that is developing this fancy new vessel, the plan for Titanic 2 is to leave the shipbuilding dock in China and travel to Southampton, England, which is the same port where the original Titanic first set sail in 1912. From there, the ship will follow the original journey to New York City as the original Titanic sailed, or more accurately, the original journey that was planned, because as we all know, the first Titanic has its original journey cut short. And yes, the original one, her journey was cut short because she hit an iceberg. So this one is the Titanic 2 is to leave the shipbuilding dock in China. So it's going to start from China and travel to Southampton, England, which is the same port where the original Titanic first set sail in 1912. And from there she will follow the original journey to New York City as the original Titanic has sailed. And because, as we all know, the first Titanic had its original journey cut short, and yes, she did. Fortunately, global warming is taking care of those pesky icebergs that cluttered up the Atlantic Ocean during the original Titanic's tragic journey. But if Titanic 2 does cross paths with any insurmountable obstacles, the ship will handle everything just fine, thanks to lots of state-of-the-art location and safety technology on board. That will be a big improvement over the original Titanic system of having a guy up on a pole looking around for stuff in the water. And of course, Titanic 2 will also have lots and lots of lifeboats, which is also good. So the new Titanic is going to have tons of lifeboats. The original Titanic, she didn't have that many. She only had as many as she could hold. But the second Titanic, she will have a lot more. The guy will be up in the crow's nest looking around for stuff in the water to see if anything is floating around in the path of the Titanic. Unfortunately, global warming is taking care of those pesky icebergs that cluttered up the Atlantic Ocean during the original Titanic's tragic journey. So any icebergs, the global warming is taking care of all that. Um, and of course, the original Titanic, she only traveled as far as she could get before she sank in 1912. There will undoubtedly be a crew member assigned to guard the bow of the ship to stop guests from climbing up onto the railing in an attempt to recreate the Kate Winslet "I'm flying" scene or shout "I'm king of the world" like Leonardo DiCaprio, and thereby risk falling overboard because, of course, guests will want to take a selfie while doing that. So they're going to have a crew member assigned to guard the bow of the ship, so nobody can climb up there, saying like what Kate Winslet has said, "I'm flying." And then of course Leonardo DiCaprio, he shouted, I'm king of the world." They're not gonna have any of it this time because it's too risky. People could fall and hurt themselves, and if they fall in the water, then it'll be the ship's crew members' responsibility to get them out of the water after. And then, they can get into trouble too, of course, with them being climbing up on the railing and everything. Because, of course, guests will want to take a selfie while doing that. And, of course, there will be no selfie taken. Nope. Not as long as there's a crew member assigned to guard the bow. I am not playing this video, but you can look at it, but I will not play this video. Movie references aside, cruising on the Titanic 2 should be a lovely experience with all of that spectacular detailed opulence of the original ship. Titanic was a huge ship for its time, but it would have been much smaller than the mega ships that are the standard for cruises today. This means Titanic 2 will be able to access some interesting ports, which would otherwise be off limits for vessels with larger hulls. So, yeah, the mega ships, they should have been smaller back then, but they wasn't. That are the standard for cruises today. This means Titanic 2 will be able to access some interesting ports. So whatever the original Titanic couldn't enter, the Titanic 2 will have a chance to enter some of the interesting ports, which would otherwise be off limits for vessels with larger hulls. So any vessels that have larger hulls, they will be off limits to them. Construction of this ship has been in the works for years, since the heads of Blue Star Line announced their plans to start construction in 2012. The various disputes between this millionaire and that millionaire have paused the process for a few years. Now things are officially underway and people are actually building this ship. So it really is happening. Who will be first to do a gay charter, Atlantis or Vacay? Yeah. Whoever gets it, the next step will be to hire Graham Norton as cruise director. So the construction, it was supposed to start in 2012, but unfortunately it didn't. It had various disputes between this millionaire, that millionaire, and it had put a pause on it, the process for a few years. So because they wanted to get this ship done, but now that things are officially underway and people actually building this ship, so it really is happening. So this is happening now that the ship is being built, and it's going to be like the replica of the real Titanic when she sank in 1912. Everything's going to be the same, even the grand staircase, they're all going to be the same as the original Titanic. And this, I don't know how this is going to turn out though, because when the first Titanic, she sank in 1912 after hitting an iceberg, and water was filling up in the boiler rooms, and then it just kept filling up even more. Well, who knows what's going to happen with this one now that she's being built, and it's to set sail in 2022. Leave your comments below. I am out.